You're listening to a paid commercial program. Unless otherwise identified, the guests on the program are employees of or otherwise represent the advertiser. The opinions expressed are those of the advertiser and do not necessarily represent the views and policies of 630 CHED. Now, back to Talk to the Experts on 630 CHED.
Welcome back to Talk to the Experts. My name is Daryl Hook. Thank you for joining us today. You've obviously heard about Catholic Social Services. They've been around for a long time. They do a lot of great work in our community. They've helped thousands upon thousands of people. And today we're learning more about some of the programs up close and personal, finding out what they do. We have our final guest here in our studio. Amanda has just joined us, and she is a remarkable example of what resilience looks like. In 2015, Amanda was involved in a collision that left her hospitalized for over a year. With the support of a Catholic Social Services disability worker through their acquired brain injury program in Red Deer, Amanda was empowered to find the beauty in her new life. Amanda, first off, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Every show, at least once, I like to leave people's microphone off as a little joke. So, hey, Amanda, let's do this again. Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Much better. Thank you for being here. It's a delight to have you. And we were talking about all your fascinating tattoos. That's a great looking sleeve you got going on there.
Thank you.
As you said, it's bright, it's flowers, and you said that's what represents you. And I'm sensing that right off the bat. You have a beautiful spirit.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about the event that brought you here ultimately to our show, but that brought you initially to Catholic Social Services?
Well, the event that happened, I was in a car accident. I spent about a month in a coma and lived in hospitals for about 13 months. The hospital actually got me in contact with Catholic Social Services. They set up the first meeting, so I was still in the hospital when we had the first meeting, and then it wasn't actually until I was discharged that I started working with them.
So, this might be a difficult question for you to answer, but what was your outlook for life like before you came, and when you first came to the acquired brain injury program in Red Deer? And how did it change throughout your time working with your disability worker?
Well, my outlook before I went to Catholic Social Services, after the accident, I have no physical memories when I started working with them. All I have are the pictures, stories, and a vague idea of me being in the hospital. That's how broken I was. I don't have any memories for about 12 to 14 months before the accident and about 9 to 14 months after. At this time, I only really knew how to be broken. I basically forgot everything else.
I'm guessing people have no idea what a brain injury can be like, how devastating it can be.
No, people don't even have an idea of how easy it is to acquire a brain injury. Brain injuries, they basically take over your life. You don't have a life without your brain injury now. My life will always be affected.
Yeah. You talked about you had lost a memory of a long period of time before the accident and a long period of time after the accident. But you're a very resilient and positive person. Is there a moment that you can distinctly recall suddenly feeling hopeful or feeling optimistic because of the support you were getting from CSS?
I'm sorry, no, I have absolutely no memory.
But you're a positive person now. Tell me about your just day-to-day experiences.
Well, my day-to-day experiences, I struggle a lot, but I struggle like everyone else. Everyone struggles throughout the day, so I see my struggles as no different. Yes, my struggles might be on a different level than everyone else, but they're still just struggles. As long as the only way the struggles are gonna win is if I let them win. If I keep fighting, there's no way they can win.
Well, optimism is an important thing, obviously, and having a positive spirit, a positive outlook. That clearly is you. What do you think about the future now? How does the future look for you?
I have no idea what the future looks like. All I know for sure is because of Catholic Social Services, now I have the confidence to be a part of the world. Now I have the confidence. I know who I am again. I know my self-worth. I know who I am and what I'm capable of. And because of this, my future looks so bright. My future looks so beautiful. It's going to be so full. It's going to be so full of love and light and warmth. And it's just going to be absolutely beautiful because of what Catholic Social Services has given to me.
Can you give us an idea? Now, we've referred to them a number of times that they've helped you out. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about what are some of the services that they provide for you and exactly how they are helping you.
Of course. Catholic Socials, I have, so my disability support worker, her name was Michelle, and she would take me out. We would go for walks to the grocery store, to coffee shops, or just sometimes just around town. She helped me create a resume. She helped me create a resume, which got me my one and only job since the accident so far. She has helped me look when I moved out for the first time. She helped me look for an apartment. She helped me apply for college, which I'm actually a college student right now, and I'm living at Red Deer College. So she helped in a number of ways like that.
What are you taking in college?
I'm taking open studies.
Oh, great. And
Yes.
do you have a career path in mind?
Actually, that's why I'm taking open studies, because I don't ever remember going to school, so I have no idea what interests me.
I love your spirit.
Thank you.
Now, I imagine it was incredibly important to be out with your caregiver and doing regular things again. Like you talked about going for coffee. Was it kind of a big deal? Like you went in and said, hey, I forgot that I like coffee.
Yeah, no, I honestly actually did. I forgot what I liked. I forgot how nice even just sitting down and having a cup of coffee is, and not laying in a hospital bed and being poked and prodded by nurses and doctors. And that's all I basically saw for a big portion of my recovery. So even going out and doing normal things, that was life-changing for me.
Little things become the big things. You're kind of rediscovering yourself now, and you're finding new things that Amanda likes to do. And tell us a few of your favorites.
I really like writing now, and I like painting. I'm not very good at painting, but I still do it. I like to be out, and I like to socialize, and I really like Catholic Social Services. Basically, they showed me that it doesn't matter that I have disabilities, that I'm still capable of doing things. That just because I do it a little bit differently, that doesn't mean I can't do it.
I think when people see you, they're going to focus on your abilities.
Thank you.
I do too.
Thank you.
And I know that you also drove up from Red Deer to be with us here in Edmonton, so thanks to you and your mom
Thank you for
coming all the
having
way
me.
to be with us.
You know, I have a couple of questions too, Troy, that I'd like to ask you. If we have time, it looks like we have a few minutes left on the clock here. So just, we've had a chance to talk to several people whose lives have been so drastically altered and improved because of the work of Catholic Social Services. But for those people who are just joining us and maybe missed your opening, what is Catholic Social Services' purpose? What would you like people to know about your organization that they might not know already?
Well, Daryl, I mean, if I could sum up the purpose, simply, our purpose is Sarah. Our purpose is Esther. Our purpose is Valerie. Our purpose is everybody that we have the privilege of serving. In short, our purpose could be summed up in 2 words. It's to serve. Part of our new strategic plan, we've got 3 big goals in our strat plan, and one of them is to lift people in lasting ways. And I think that we've, from the 4 very gracious guests that we've had here today, I think they've given us real evidence and strong testimony that that's exactly what we're doing. Through the staff that we're so fortunate to have and the volunteers that we're so fortunate to have as well.
And I imagine there are too many numerous moments to mention, but can you think of some moments that make you proud to be the CEO of Catholic Social Services?
Well, there are too many, but I think when I just see the resilience of our staff, that puts a huge smile on my face. The victories of our clients, many of which we heard today, our donors who choose to give to us year after year. We've had some donors giving to us for 40 years, and we really treat those donations as a sacred trust, and we commit to doing excellent work with that. So those would be a few highlights. One very specific highlight that I can give you by way of programming is we've just opened up a brand new program in Red Deer for vulnerable women called Morning Star. And it serves women who are at serious risk of homelessness or abuse, and a variety of other ways that they might be rendered vulnerable. And that's a new service that we're providing in Red Deer. And we were down there to cut the ribbon on it just a week or 2 ago. And that was really a hallmark moment for us as well recently.
I'm so glad you're able to do this show, because for a lot of donors, I think it means more for them when they have line of sight of the people they've helped. And now we've had 4 guests on who've shared their stories, and for our listeners, I think that is so impactful that they now go, I contributed, and now I'm hearing how Amanda's life is being changed, and how Esther's life is being changed, and how people are what was the line that one of our earlier guests said? I'm thinking less about myself, and more about just going on in life. It was a beautiful line. I'm sorry I couldn't remember it exactly, but we're hearing so many great stories, and I'm wondering if you can recall one of the first times that you had the opportunity to connect with a client face-to-face and fully understood the impact of what you do.
Sure, yeah. Well, as a CEO, I try to get out into our properties and our houses and our homes and our offices as much as I possibly can. And one of the biggest delights that I have is visiting our clients in our homes. And I recall being out in Wainwright a couple of months ago, and there was a fellow that was trying to get into the van. He required a lift to get into that van because he loved being out in the community. He didn't want to stay in the home on the weekends, and it was Sign of Hope money. It was our donors' money that purchased that seat for that van so that he could get out into the community, get to the grocery store, get where he wanted to go. He loved being around people. That's what put a smile on his face. And just to know that we had donors generous enough so we could purchase that seat. I think you're so right, Daryl. What you mentioned earlier about it makes it real. When you hear the stories, people understand that it's so much bigger than the donation itself. It's the impact that the donation makes on people's real lives.
That music in our headphones means we're running out of time. Can you give our listeners one last message on how they can help out and be a part of the Sign of Hope?
I sure can. We would love for people to give, and they can do that by going online and donating at signofhope.ab.ca. They can also call us at 780-439-HOPE. And I just want to extend, on behalf of all of the people we serve, a very sincere and heartfelt thank you to every one of our existing donors and all those new donors who may choose to give. Thank you for helping us lift people up.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Proceeding was a paid commercial program. The opinions expressed are those of the advertiser and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 630 CHED.